chime in and ask questions. I find that a lot of students don't ask questions because they're afraid to, but then the next person has the same question. So they're like, I'm just going to stick around for the questions.
Right.
So up at the top, I do have a review sheet, and I leave it up there because it's usually 50-50 split. Some students are like, oh, I really love the review sheet. It helps me kind of make a checklist of what I need to cover. And other students are like, oh, the check sheet just is one more thing to deal with. So I put it up there with the warning that some students love it and some students don't, and so you can take it or leave it.
Right.
And then we do have additional practice tests and quizzes in Mastering Biology. I think those are super helpful. They're not graded and they are in the study area. And then the exam essays. So the one that probably goes along with the worksheet that you mentioned here is this product analysis. There it goes. And so it will go through different stages of the scientific method. So doing the anthrax worksheet is great practice. All right, so for the product analysis essay, it will be similar to this. So I won't give you the keto diet, but I'll give you some other type of product with some information. And generally speaking, the instructions will look exactly the same. So based on the information that you have about the ketogenic diet and what you've learned about the scientific experimental design, I'm asking students to design an experiment that would support or refute one of the claims that's given in the information. So maybe that energy is increased might be one that you want to pull. And so I have listed on the essay question a question for you to write based on what you choose. So that should definitely have a question mark after it. And then writing a hypothesis, which can be written in the if-then prediction format. A control group, so meaning something to compare back to. And then any experimental groups with population demographics. So sometimes our control is more so that we group people or I guess test subjects or experimental groups together based on population demographics that we think will make a difference. So a lot of things with diet and exercise may be grouped into men and women. And then making sure that sample size is addressed with the experimental groups. So if we just tested the impact of the ketogenic diet on one person or even two people, that's not going to be enough. And then identifying what your independent variables are, and that's going to be based on your groups that you choose. And then the dependent variable is going to be the data that you collect. So if we're looking for evidence that the ketogenic diet increases your energy, maybe you give people like a Likert scale of 1 to 10 and you're tracking their energy levels. So that is the first essay question that you can expect, and it will look very similar to this. Questions on this part?
No, ma'am.
All right. And this one doesn't necessarily have to be in full complete sentences. It just needs to complete the information. And then the other one is a graph analysis. So in the lab, you made a graph and did some analysis on it. But with this one, I will give you a graph and you'll be looking for the good graphing techniques that were in the video. So I will give you a graph. It won't be this one about crickets chirping, but it might be something, similar. And I will ask you these questions that are listed. So is the graph title appropriate? So cricket chirps versus temperature, that's an okay title, but I think we could be more specific, like predicting the temperature based on the frequency of cricket chirps or something like that.
Say that again.
Temperature determination based on the frequency of cricket chirps. So maybe just filling in some more of the descriptive terms instead of just saying cricket chirps versus temperature. Yes, those are our independent and dependent variables. So that's always a good place to start. But I would fill in with a little bit more detail. And then we'll want to take a look at the access labels to make sure that we do have labels there and that we have any units of measure. So instead of just chirps down here at the bottom, I say number of chirps. And then up here at the temperature, we make sure that it's designated the unit of measure, and this is in Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. And it actually may be helpful. So this just says number of chirps, but up here in the directions, it says number of chirps per minute. So probably number of chirps per minute would be better for the for that label there. And it looks like I maybe have a topic error on this example where I start talking about protein. Just ignore that. Just ignore that part.
I saw that. I was like, I don't know about this.
And then question 2 will be about a control. For this one, we're looking really at a wide range of number of chirps. And so maybe we're trying to compare based on room temperature if there's an increase or decrease in number of chirps. So this one isn't the best for a control, but maybe we had, maybe they separated the male and female crickets because they know that they have different chirping rates, but being able to explain what a control is. And then the third question is write a conclusion. And again, it looks like I have that protein information in there. So just ignore that. So relative to the temperature. So write a conclusion for this graph relative to the temperatures recorded. So you would say something general like, as the crickets, as we recorded the number of chirps, or as the number of chirps increased, the temperature also increased. So you're looking to relate the independent variable to what's happening with the trend of the dependent variable. And then the last part is writing a new hypothesis that could be tested with a new experiment. So a lot of times in science, they take information and then based on that information, they create the next question, which leads to the next experiment. So because they just say number of chirps, you know, maybe you want to test the difference of the number of chirps with the temperature with male and female crickets, because that's not indicated here. Or maybe you want to move to a different animal to see if the number of frog croaks per minute relates to temperature similar. So something different, kind of a next step from what we're seeing. Any questions on that part?
No, ma'am.
All right.
The protein stuff was throwing me though.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe if I do have to run to campus today. If I have time to edit that, I will definitely edit that so that it's more clear for sure.
No worries.